AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will.
Hey, bud.
Cassie Spazzali.
Oh, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do.
Musso.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We have a ton to do today. Uncle Larry here in 1 hour. Jake Crane will be here. Colin Jeter in hour 3. Jeff Christensen, who runs the Throw It Deep Academy, where the quarterbacks and receivers were this past week, and he'll be here in hour number 3. A ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, a few weeks ago, over at Louisiana sports.Net, we broke a story that LSU, TAF President Matt Borman sent a letter to the top 40 donors for LSU Athletics, inviting them to the governor's mansion to hear a presentation from LSU System President Dr. Wade Rousse that would be first of its kind, as they phrased it. Well, that meeting happened last night, the second of which will happen on Wednesday. And over the course of the day today, I've been able to catch up with, both on and off the record, several people who were in attendance at that meeting. And we're going to start the show today with Charles Harvey of Southern Regional Medical, who was at the governor's mansion for the meeting last night. He's good enough to join us in the studio and basically tell us what happened. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. So tell us what happened, man. We're making all this money. We're saving the world.
I don't know about making money and saving the world, but definitely things are looking up for LSU and the state of Louisiana as far as athletics.
Okay, let's maybe just do some procedural stuff to go through all this. So we reported that email went out to the top 40 LSU athletics donors. How many people were in attendance at the governor's mansion?
I didn't count, but there was probably about 25 to 30 people.
Okay.
Not all donors. You had Verge Osbury, Dr. Rousse, Dr. Jim Dalton, the governor, Liz Murrell, AG. Let me think of who else was there. Quite a few people. Matt Borman, Krista Reyna from the foundation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people, and then a bunch of donors.
The one that maybe is getting the most attention outside of Baton Rouge is Greg Williams, who we'll talk about in just a little bit, because that's a key component of all this. So you and I spoke earlier today, and by the way, if you missed the story we published, you can go read it for free over at louisianasports.net. So you hear that you've been invited to this meeting at the governor's mansion, and your first thought is what?
An ask. And they assured everybody, look, you're not coming in, we're not asking you for money. We just want to unveil this plan and this model that we have to try and I'm going to use kind of what they used last night is perpetual revenue generator for LSU. And so everybody was skeptical. I know I was. I can't speak for everybody. I was definitely skeptical. When LSU comes calling, usually it's for money. And so, I put on my big boy pants. I went to the governor's mansion. You and I talked about this earlier. An article came out yesterday that this private equity deal was done. LSU already signed off on it. And so you get to the governor's mansion. It's a very quaint little group. Everybody's sitting in the hallway of the governor's mansion. And that was the talk. This is going to be a private equity. They're going to tell us what they've already done. The mood was kind of somber. Like, look, I don't like private equity when it comes to LSU. I just don't agree with it. Private equity eats everything up. They control everything. And so I said, well, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and let's hear what they have to say. We sat down, and the governor came in, and he spoke. First thing he said was, private equity is not an option right now. This isn't what we're talking about, private equity. We're not talking about private equity. And so then Dr. Rousse got up. Greg Williams got up. I just met him last night. Another attorney got up that helped them formulate this plan, and then they unveiled the plan. And they basically showed what everybody knows, Matt. Everybody knows LSU and college athletics. It's not just LSU. College athletics is in trouble. You can't sustain what you're doing right now. It's impossible. NIL is not going to go backwards. It's only going to keep growing. And so,
what did they? I'm sorry. Let me just we just said,
absolutely.
What did they tell you all about? You said LSU Athletics is in trouble. I would presume they showed some type of financials. What did they sift through?
So they showed everything that we've all seen. LSU TAF has been supplementing LSU Athletics, and this isn't by anybody's fault. It's not. You've changed out some coaches. You have some buyouts that you have to pay out, which isn't palatable to some people, but it's part of business, right? This is just part of athletics.
The guy whose house you were in last night wasn't super keen on buyouts.
No, he wasn't. And that question came up.
Yeah.
And so they just showed you how much money TAF has moved over to athletics in the last 6 years.
What's the number? Do you remember?
$177.5
So
million.
So TAF has supplemented LSU Athletics to the tune of $177 million, roughly. in the last 6 years?
6 years.
Okay.
Hats off to Matt Borman for raising this kind of money and TAF being as strong as it is to do it. Unfortunately, it's not sustainable. We all know that. TAF is starting to get into their reserves, and it's just not going to happen. Like, you can't do it. And it's not, like I said, it's not just LSU. Texas. I know everybody thinks Texas, big money people, they got all the money. They don't. They're in trouble. They're looking for ways to. I don't want to say, when I say trouble, I don't mean they're going bankrupt tomorrow, but people need to learn how to make revenue generating avenues to sustain what's going on today.
Sure. Look, even Ohio State, Notre Dame just did jersey patch deals. Top three.
Look, LSU was the first one to put the patches on, right? Yeah. Now everybody's following suit. And so they showed that. And that wasn't something that the average person should know. They hear about it. They don't know the exact number, but I've seen the numbers sitting on the TAF board. And so I knew this was coming. I knew this wasn't sustainable. So the governor gives a speech. Dr. Rousse gets up, starts unveiling his plan. They did not hand handouts because I've been asked several times, wait a minute, you got something on paper? And I go, no.
I think I asked you that.
Well, it wasn't just you. It wasn't just you. And so,
hey, man, you go send me that document?
No, there is no document. Right. And I wasn't going to pull out my phone and take pictures.
Sure.
So Dr. Rousse did a great job. He explained it. An attorney that is helping him formulate this model was there. Then Greg Williams got up. He talked about it. He's a Michigan State fan, huge Michigan State fan. And he even said, he goes, it's everybody in this room is tired of donor fatigue. I know I am. You and I talked about this. I'm in Europe over the summer, and hey, man, we need some money for a sport. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm in Europe. And well, can you point me in the right direction? Well, every person I'm going to point you to is already somebody you've already talked to, or you should be talking to. And so,
how much would you estimate that you get asked, or that you given? Let's say go back to 2021 when NIL began. If you were to carry,
I've given over $1 million to LSU, and over the years.
So cumulatively over the years, variety of different sports. What's maybe the biggest amount in one lick?
$500,000.
Okay, so it's escalated.
Oh, absolutely. It starts out at 25, 50. And look, people are going to go, well, why is LSU asking? They have to. That's their job. Whether it be TAF, athletics, NIL. I mean, look, this NIL space really blew up. Look, these people, we don't have a Larry Ellison. We don't have a Phil Knight in Louisiana. I'm sure Todd Graves is tired of being asked. I'm sure Holden Spate is tired of being asked.
Yeah.
I know I'm tired, and I'm not giving what they're giving, but I'm tired. Like it's just like, and you don't want to say no, but you have to. At some point, you just have to.
The line you told me earlier I thought was best was, "You work really hard to make money.
I don't want to give it all away.
I don't want to give it all away.
I don't want to give it all away. And look, LSU is a passion of mine, and I do. I love LSU. I truly love LSU. And so, so they roll out this plan, and literally, it's not private equity. It's not. That was probably one of the first statements Dr. Rousse made. This is not private equity. LSU will maintain control of this whole deal. And so as they're unveiling it, and you're hearing all of this, and you're watching it, and they're showing you how everything's going to generate this revenue, it's like a light bulb goes off in your head, and like, man, where has this been? Some other schools have tried to model something similar, but some of the portions that LSU has is really to the forefront of all of this. I think LSU will be the first, if this model comes into play, will be the first in the country to do this. And all it's doing is creating a revenue stream that's perpetual, that they don't have to. Now, look, they're going to continue to ask, but just not as large amounts. And you're going to give because you want to give, not because it's a need.
You said if the model comes into play.
They're doing a due diligence. They have some things. I think you said it in the article. They have to get some things signed off by the IRS, and the AG has to sign off on some things to make sure everything's being operated. But I got to be honest with you, the plan, I can't, when you and I talked earlier today, I can't say enough about the LSU leadership, the state leadership, the governor. I mean, the governor's all in. The governor's all in. And he's trying to take care of the whole state, and he's having to worry about LSU and athletics. Well, there's other bigger problems here. Higher education is definitely one of his biggest problems. He said it last night. And it's not just, across the state. But there's other things, insurance rates and all of this stuff. And so if we can take that pressure off the state and make this work, it's a win for everybody. And so the mood was somber when you first started because everybody's worried about private equity. Oh, private equity is going to take over LSU. Oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden you look at it and it's not private equity. And I know for me, can't speak for everybody in the room, but it was like a weight was lifted off your shoulders. Like, here it is. And, you and I, when we spoke earlier, I can't tell you the exact model and way they have it set up, but it's going to work. I truly believe it's going to work.
Let me do this. I want to knock out a quick break so we stay on time. Can you hang for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to knock out a break. I want to come back because I do want to circle back to the report that dropped a day ago. I want to go through some of the items in that were addressed, and then also the Greg Williams component of it, because you hear Greg Williams, who's the president and CEO of Acrisure, people are going to say, well, that's private equity. So we'll circle back to some of that, what Greg Williams had to say when we continue. Charles Harvey is in studio with us. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're thinking of putting in a pool, you want Duplessis pools. They're the best. Not even me saying it. I mean, I say it every day, but it's not just me saying it. Let me put it to you that way. At Duplessis Pools, the last 2 years, they've been named a top 50 pool builder in America by Pool and Spa magazine. So that's not my opinion. That's one of the trade magazines, and they're the only pool builder in the state to receive that designation, and they've done it each of the last 2 years. It's Duplessis Pools. Great thing is you can start on the website. Really easy. Go to duplessispools.com, duplessispools.com, and right there on the homepage, you'll see where it says pick your pool. Now, you can design anything custom. You want like a gorgeous palatial resort style pool, they can do that for you too. They got 11 different pool designs. You can pick your favorite pool design, choose all your finishes. You can even finance it, pay for it right there on the website. Simple. duplessispools.com. They make it easy. They're going to build you a beautiful product that lasts. It's duplessispools.com. Check them out online at duplessispools.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, rolling along here, Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The top donor meeting at the Governor's Mansion took place Monday. Charles Harvey was there, Southern Regional Medical Center, good enough to hang out in studio with us, kind of explain what he saw. And I appreciate very much your time and your candor and willingness to come do this on the record. You've said several times that the group that was going in was a little somber, I think is the word you said, because I thought it was private equity. Why such opposition? Maybe just for the listener, right, who maybe doesn't live in that world, why would that be such a bad thing?
Most private equity control it. If I'm going to give you $100 million, I want to control it. I want to control what's going on. I want to control how I make my money back, how quickly I make my money back. This isn't like that. It's just not like that. What they rolled out is not like that. It's controlled by LSU.
So Greg Williams was there, and Greg Williams owns several funds. He's the president and CEO of Acrisure. He's a billionaire. He sort of, I guess, famously made a $400 million, call it a gift, quote unquote, to Michigan State. Lives in Lansing. He was there last night, and so if you hear of a fund manager at this meeting, I'm thinking, well, this sure feels like private equity if you're going to take a whole bunch of money from this guy. So what's different?
So the way it was presented is LSU controls it. LSU controls what happens with the money, what happens with everything. That the whole model is controlled by LSU. There's going to be a board of, I don't know how many people. They might have said it last night, but I wasn't. And he's going to have one seat. LSU's going to control majority of the seats. And so it's not private equity. He can't overthrow it or vote, control the votes in it. And so it's completely not private equity. I mean, is it coming from a fund? Sure, it might be. I don't know. I don't know Greg Williams. I met him last night for the first time. Shook his hand. Very savvy business person. Very honest looking. Doesn't look like, look, he said he's coming down for 2 games, the Clemson and Alabama game.
All right.
So, and he's sitting in a room full of Tiger fans and had no qualms about saying, look, I did a deal similar to this, not as complex, not as forward-thinking as this plan is. And so I do. I think it's a great thing. Matt, a lot of people are scared, and I don't know why. I kind of understand it to a certain extent, but when you hear it, I think you're going to – I know because I talked to you. I talked to several other people since last night. Like I told you earlier, I didn't go to bed till 2:30. I was looking this stuff up and looking all of this stuff up because it was like a relief. It was literally like a relief. Doesn't mean I'm not going to give LSU any more money. It's just I'm not going to be asked as often.
Why do you suppose, or did he address Greg Williams, why he would be okay with LSU remaining in control?
I don't know that. I think he understands it, and I think LSU brand is bigger than anybody. Listen, I've been a lifelong LSU fan. I didn't realize LSU brand is worth what it's worth or what they think it's worth. You said it in the article. They're going to get an evaluation on it. I'm thinking, and this is just me, nobody said anything last night, $1 billion, $1.5 billion? Who would have thought a brand is worth that? It's that big. You listen, I've been to Europe every summer for the last 4 summers. You walk around with an LSU shirt, you're bound to find somebody that knows what those letters mean. Yeah. And so it's bigger than everybody thinks. Look, we become complacent because we live here. We become complacent because we see it all the time. But when you travel afar, it's a huge brand.
One of the things I was told, and this, if you're interested, the story we have written, the report is up at sports.Matt. If you want to read it, it's free there. It's on the homepage. One of the quotes that I included was about the structure, and this is maybe the most detail that I was given from anyone that was in the room. And the quote is, "The structure would allow LSU to own and control an LLC that can invest in companies that will generate revenue perpetually." What does that mean?
So there is an LLC involved. There's also a nonprofit involved. To get into the details of it, I would be doing a disservice to you and the listeners because I understand it, but without the graphs and charts and everything, you really need to see how it flows back and forth. But yes, LSU controls their destiny. And I think, they're going to compound some money. You put up, somebody puts up $100 million, you got that to invest. You're going to draw a little bit off of it. You're going to make interest. You're going to compound it. You're going to get the TV revenue share from the SEC. And so you're going to keep dumping all of this money into this, and it's going to start growing, which we don't have right now. You're taking the money from the SEC, and you're going, okay, let me hurry up and try and spread it so thin that we can cover everything, and then you're going to have a little nest egg that you don't have to do that. And I know people are going to kill me for saying a little nest egg at $100 million, but it's a little nest egg that you can start compounding, and that's what they're going to try and do, is invest it and turn some revenue generating perpetual money for LSU.
I don't want to ask you to speak for the other people in the room, but I would assume after the meeting was over, you did speak to some of the other donors in the room. Anything you can share about a feeling generally or otherwise?
I've talked to people that last night. I've talked to more people today. And everybody's kind of surprised that it wasn't an ask and it's not private equity. And so they're excited about it. They are. I mean, look, the governor said it. Two people in this room, two people that LSU always goes to. The people in this room and the people next door in the state capitol when they need money. And everybody's tired. Both groups are tired. And so it's a relief. To me, I cannot, you and I talked about this. Dr. Rousse, this whole planning group, the governor, super gracious, super enthusiastic. Dr. Rousse, I mean, he's a genius. I mean, this guy literally, he is a genius. Like he
try to tell people, man.
And they don't, look, he catches your attention when he's talking. He doesn't, he's great. We're very lucky to have him. We're very lucky to have him. And look at what this administration did. Look at what this administration at LSU did. You got Lane Kiffin, clearly one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in college football. You got Will Wade, clearly one of the best coaches in college. You got Jay Johnson, clearly one of the best coaches. You got Jay Clark. You got Beth Torino, Kim Mulkey. I mean, you can't. So they're all in. They're all in. And the only way to make all of those people successful is doing something like this.
Do you have a sense of a timeline? Did they share that?
It was asked, and of course they would like it as soon as possible, but they're doing their due diligence, and so I think it'll be sooner rather than later. I think in probably the next 30 to 60 days.
Okay, so months, not...
Maybe weeks. I don't know how fast they're moving. I don't know all the moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts to this. But they've been working on this for several months. I think they said 5 months they've been working on this. So I think it's close to the finish line. It's close.
The first, I don't mind saying this, the first I was ever made aware of some of this loosely was in February. So that kind of falls in that line.
Yeah. And so I don't think they're here. Listen, they got to live here. These people have to live here. And so they don't want to lie to everybody because, you got to live here. Unless they have just pulled the wool over a lot of big people's eyes, myself included, I think this is going to be a great thing for everybody. I think it's going to be I did say it. I told you this. I told the governor this. I go, and I said it to other people last night. LSU is going to be at the forefront of this model. You're going to see a lot of people adopt this model after LSU and try and mimic it exactly like LSU. For the first time in a long time, the state's going to be number one in something. LSU, the state. And so it's an exciting thing. I'm completely excited about it. And I don't know why. I mean, it's not my money.
Well, I think we all understand the how essential LSU athletics is to so many different economies in the state.
Correct.
It's Dr. Rousse does a great job of explaining how LSU athletics isn't the biggest piece of a $3.8 billion annual revenue system, but it's the loudest.
Yes.
That's why you got to be good. But then talk to restaurant owners. Talk to literally anybody who does business in this state, how important LSU athletics and football Saturday nights being good and being relevant is.
So when I first started fooling with LSU, as I came up through the rankings of the LSU donor system, Skip Bertman gave a speech one time to a small group, maybe 4 or 5 of us, and he said, if you don't think when LSU football wins on a Saturday night, they've done a study, the economy the next week goes through the roof. If LSU loses, the economy falls. Well, I mean, come on. And it's not just in Baton Rouge, it's in the state. People are happy. Yeah. Saints win. New Orleans is happy. Yeah. And so it does. It affects you in every way. It affects your mood. It affects your spending. Listen, if you're happy, you're going to spend money, right? I mean, look. For 4 years now, 5 years, I've spent a lot of money on LSU men's basketball.
I was going to ask you about that in a second, but I was smiling because I remember a story of Gino Marino. Gino's in town, told me. I was sitting in there one time. He said, I can always tell if LSU wins because, man, Tigers win. People come. They stay. They order a bottle of wine. They eat dessert. They lose. We sit by the phone all night, and it's to-go chicken parm. That's it, all night.
I believe it. I believe it. I mean, look, you go home, you listen to the post-game shows, and you're angry, and you know, what did we do wrong? And so, look, it's not just this plan. For me, it's not just this plan. You have Lane Kiffin. You're excited about football. We're literally, you can almost touch football season. Yeah. You're excited about basketball season. Even though we don't know the whole roster, we're excited about it. You're excited about baseball. You're seeing what Jay Johnson's doing. You're excited about women's basketball. You see what Kim. I mean, so you're starting to get, and now this is just another piece of the puzzle that these. I said this earlier to you. I've said it in a bunch of. I've never seen the leadership at LSU, the state, aligned as much as I did last night. The board of supervisors was represented by Lee Mallett, who's the chair, Matt Borman. Everybody was. Verge Osbury, everybody's pulling in the same direction, and you can't lose with that. With that big of a power, you just can't lose.
Before you go, what's gonna happen with Will, bro? We gonna get these players or what? What's happening?
I think he's good.
Come on now.
You don't really doubt him, do you?
No. Don't bet against Will Wade, man.
You don't bet against Will Wade.
Generally, like the Cheshire Cat, man, he's got something. He knows something none of us know. He generally does.
He's okay. Let's just put it that way. He's okay.
That's all you're gonna give me.
He's okay. He's okay. I was texting with him earlier today. He came to me, and after we got the invitation, I went to him and I go, man, you know what this is about? And he's like, a little bit. And he tried to explain it. And I'm like, look, you got to really see it to understand it. And so I haven't talked to him. I texted him earlier today. But like I said, man, everybody should be excited. I get people are still skeptical because you weren't sitting in the room.
Yeah.
You weren't sitting in the room. So you're taking my word for it. I'm not a sunshine pumper. I'm going to tell you, look, my best quality is my worst quality, my mouth. You either love me or you hate me. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean, it's just the way it is. And so, I think it's going to be really good. I think you're going to see when it all comes out, and why did he bring in 40 of the top donors? Because we're the people who have been helping LSU be sustainable for the last several years. So they thought it was only right to share it with us first. Once it gets put out and all signed off on, they'll roll it out. And I'm telling you, people are going to be like, oh, my gosh. Now, of course, you're not going to make everybody happy, but people who understand high financing and big money, they'll get it. They'll get it.
LSU's got the right guy in the chair.
No doubt. Over
at the university at the system level, Dr. Rousse. Charles Harvey, Southern Regional Medical Center, very kind to come in today and give us some of your time and our audience. I appreciate it greatly.
Anytime, bud. Anytime.
Let me know about them basketball players.
I'll keep you posted.
All right, it's after further review. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where to find them. Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. Go see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. They're awesome. Full greenhouses, a great time of year to get by. Spending so much time outdoors by your pool, in your outdoor area, the outdoor kitchen, just in the backyard. If you want to help that grass grow, you want to get rid of the weeds, if you want to get rid of the ants, the ant piles, whatever it is, you want some beautiful ways to accentuate your outdoor spaces with bird feeders and hummingbird feeders or outdoor mats or tuned wind chimes. Got everything over at Clegg's Nursery. So get by and see them. And if you're trying to get rid of the pests, they can help you there as well. The Aeon mosquito barriers we tell you about. They got snake away and roach spray and wasp spray and all that stuff as well. So bypass the big box store. Bypass the big box stores. And buy local and shop local. Go see our friends today over at Clegg's Nursery. Need a steel building? Proform Steel. I want you to remember the name. Why use Proform Steel? Well, I got tons of reasons. Here's a few. How about the lead times? 6 to 8 weeks from signed contract out the door. They'll get it to you quicker. Free delivery on every building. You buy it from them, they'll deliver it for free. It's Proform Steel. You can even order online. You can pick the style, size, color, doors, submit the form, get a call back the same day. And at Proform Steel, They use American-made materials on everything. No exceptions. It's ProForm steel. Maybe you need a shed in your backyard. Maybe we're talking about a big industrial facility. Need a steel building? You want ProForm steel. Make sure you call Brandon Golson, you know the name, at ProForm Steel. Check him out, ProForm Steel.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun. Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. Well, I make her little room and she climbs on up. Open up a throttle and stir a little dust.
Thanks again to Charles Harvey for joining us. We've got a report up at Louisiana sports.Net if you want to go read it from the handful of folks I was able to talk to on and off the record about the donor meeting last night at the governor's mansion. Again, there'll be another meeting on Wednesday, and so I'll be able to get a few more folks, hopefully we'll be able to get a few more folks' opinions when they walk out of there. But overwhelmingly, the consensus was very positive about that meeting at the governor's mansion, what Dr. Rousse has. And, you know, the concise way of saying, I appreciate Charles for his willingness to come on air and go on the record. The concise way to say it is everyone's expenses keep going up and expenses are outpacing revenue. So you have to find new revenue streams. What are creative ways that you can generate revenue to maintain your elite level competitiveness across all sports? And LSU just happens to have a system president right now, Dr. Rousse, whose background is in finance. I mean, Charles Harvey just used the word, said he's a genius, like a financial genius. You don't need me to say it. He said it. That's a dude who's made millions of dollars many times over, okay? Super successful businessman who just said Dr. Rousse is a financial genius, which he is. I mean, the man worked in private equity. He was hired by the Federal Reserve, and before he ever went into academia, he really is a brilliant finance guy. And while most university leaders, I'm not painting with a broad brush, I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush here, but a lot of university leaders are people who have come up through academia. Not that that's good or bad, it's just a thing. Well, LSU has a system president whose background is in finance before he ever got into academia, so it puts you in a competitive advantage where you understand someone who's approaching running a university like a business. And that's going to serve LSU well here. I do have a request into both Governor Landry and Dr. Rousse to come on the show. Either or both are willing. They have an open invite, and I'm really hopeful we'll be able to make that happen. My guess is, I have not spoken to either here, but my assumption is, I'm assuming here, that they wouldn't want to speak until after the meeting on Wednesday. That would stand to reason if your intention is to unveil this whole plan to the top 40 donors, et cetera, that you would wait to make any type of public statement until after that. So I'm operating under an assumption here that they'll have that meeting Wednesday, and then maybe thereafter, maybe I can push a little harder, see if I can get the governor or Dr. Rousse in here. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us. The preseason coaches poll is out. How about LSU, number 13? Candidly, a little surprised to see LSU 13. I thought they would fall somewhere. This is going to sound ridiculous the way I say it. I thought they were going to fall somewhere like in the 9 to 12 range. Probably, like if you made me guess, I would have said they're going to be 10. So 13 is what it is. And look, the preseason poll quite literally doesn't matter for anything at all. Polls don't factor at all into rankings or ratings or like the BCS back in the day or anything like that. So it really doesn't matter a lick where LSU is. It's just a jumping off point where they are. So LSU preseason number 13 in the coaches poll. We'll take a look at this a little bit deeper as we move throughout the show and look at some of the takeaways from the rest of the preseason coaches poll. But LSU will open up the Lane Kiffin era preseason number 13. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Hancock Whitney, official banking partner of LSU Athletics. HancockWhitney.com/Matt, my name, M-A-T-T. HancockWhitney.com/Matt if you want to learn more. Love telling you about Hancock Whitney. They've been my bank. I mean, for quite literally as long as I've had a checking account. Now, Hancock and Whitney merged years ago, but in my lifetime, for as long as I've had a checking account, Hancock Whitney's been my bank. So my branch, it's funny, my branch has bounced around a little bit. Like when I was in school, my branch was the branch on Government Street near Jefferson. That's where I would always go. Eric and I, now my branch is the Highland Road branch near I-10. You walk in, they know your name. It's a huge financial institution with over 200 ATMs across multi-states in the region, more than 180 full-service financial centers there. But you walk into Hancock Whitney and they know your name. I love it. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Official banking partner of LSU Athletics and of the New Orleans Saints. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. All right, it's after further review. Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Kentucky Wildcats.
First season of the Will Stein era will open up with practice on Thursday. Kentucky pretty healthy, but they're not going to have 100% participation. So Nick Anderson, the former LSU receiver, is still rehabbing a knee injury he suffered during his final month at LSU. Also, edge Sam Green suffered a season-ending knee injury about that time, and he isn't expected back anytime soon. Running back Javonte Barnes missed spring. He'll not be ready for the start of camp. Outside linebacker Jaden Smith, another who will be absent during week 1 of practice there in Lexington.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Cornerback Jadis Richard has suffered a season-ending injury. He's a Miami transfer. He's going to miss the season after suffering a upper body injury. This is VolQuest had the report. He's already had surgery, according to the VolQuest report. Richard played a limited number of snaps last year, recovering from a torn ACL. Played 9 games as a junior with 6 starts. He's a Louisiana native. He was expected to be in Tennessee's rotation at cornerback, but his season is over.
The Auburn Tigers.
Offensive lineman Ty Buster will miss several weeks with an injury. Alex Golish told reporters on Tuesday he could return maybe 5 or 6 games into the season. To hit to Auburn's offensive line, he was the primary right tackle in spring. He was expected to contend for that job with Michigan State transfer Stanton Rommel, who's returning from injury, but Ty Buster is going to miss first 5 or 6 games.
The Florida Gators.
John Summerall gave an injury report ahead of Florida's fall camp. 2 players returning to action. Senior end Jalen Jordan and freshman safety Caden Hall. They will not be there, and those may be the only 2 players that are down at the start of fall camp. Redshirt junior cornerback Dijon Johnson, who underwent a second procedure this summer for a meniscus tear, he is expected to return. And redshirt sophomore offensive tackle Fletcher Westfall, who missed all of last year, is full go.
Texas A&M!
And Mike Elko updated Damian Sanford's injury status when he met with reporters. The standout linebacker was injured during the spring game and really rehabbed the entire summer. Elko said he's not going to go out there and take 82 reps in practice 1. That's a quote. So he'll manage his reps early, but said didn't fully confirm if he'd be available for the season opener against Missouri State, but didn't rule him out either. Sanford will be a big part of the Aggies' outlook for 2026 on the defensive side of the ball. Returning starter at 57 tackles, 9.5 TFLs, 3.5 sacks a season ago for the Aggies. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunEquip.com, SunEquip.com. If you want to check them out, Bunkie and below. If you want a Deere, you want Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. So the rest of that preseason poll, by the way, Ohio State starts the season number 1 in the country. They had 38 first-place votes. Oregon is second on the list in the preseason rankings, according to the coaches. And Georgia third. Forgive me. I'm just pulling up the graphic there. Georgia third. Texas, Notre Dame, that's your top 5. Indiana, the defending champ, they start 6th. Miami at 7. Texas A&M 8. Oklahoma 9. Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas Tech, and LSU. That's where you find the Tigers. So when you're looking at it, Georgia, Texas, A&M, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Alabama. LSU is ranked 13th. But they're the 7th highest ranked SEC team. So I know the Big Ten loves to spout off about how they're the toughest league and their strength of schedule. the coaches around the country sort of tend to agree here about the SEC. Ohio State, Oregon are there. Indiana is there as well. It's 3 Big Ten schools. I mean, aside from Notre Dame and Miami, the rest of that top 12 or top 13 is all SEC. All right, it's after further review. Now I got a quick break. Wrap up hour number 1. Stay here.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Gordon and his team do awesome work, and they touch every corner of Louisiana. So no matter where you are in the state, if you've been injured in an accident, get Gordon and get it done. 225-504-337-318-985. Just call 888-8888, 888-8888. Dial the 8s, 888-8888. Or go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. When you go to the website, you'll see the little chat bubble pop up on the bottom. You can start chatting with an associate in seconds. If you want to call, you can. Dial the 8s, 888-8888. But if you'd rather chat or text, you can do that as well, mobile or desktop. Just go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You can see client results. You see the type of cases that they handle. Just know that you're going to get awesome attorneys with a great track record that are going to go to work for you to get you what you deserve. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I know how hard all this was to get to the point where the Senate actually votes on it, but I'm not convinced that this is going to save college sports by itself, because I don't think anything can. And one thing about this sport, you can enact any number of new rules or legislation, and it still faces incredibly problems. I'm not suggesting, Jake, that the sport is going away. I just think there are just so many conflicts, and this bill does not end all the litigation. I think it ends some of it, but there's a shark attorney around every corner looking to make a name. So I wish I could feel better about the future of college sports, but I don't.
That was Paul Feinbaum on Crane and Cone. By the way, Jake Crane is going to be with us, our booth hang, our little side piece. He'll be here in about 40 minutes from right now. I'll get his thoughts on that, but really more excited just to talk actual football. But interestingly, the Ross Dellinger has shared the latest on the Protect College Sports Act, as Senator Ted Cruz seems to be very optimistic that this is going to come for a vote this week, and that it will pass. So remains to be seen that does actually happen. But Senator Cruz is one of the co-authors along with Senator Cantwell. And if you remember the timeline, it looked late last week like this was going to die on the vine because the SEC and the Big Ten didn't support it. Friday evening, in a very surprising turn, the SEC and the Big Ten supported it with revised language. And now the push is to get it to a vote this week so the Senate can pass it, the House can pass it, the President can sign it. There remains skepticism. This was the update from Ross Dellinger over at Yahoo today. This is on the College Football Inquirer podcast on the timeline here for the PCSA.
I got a call just early this morning about sort of an update. The earliest they could file cloture, which is kind of like the kickoff to the game, is Thursday. So the earliest then they could have a full vote is probably Saturday. And if they get a lot of other time limitation things settled, which is really complicated. I don't even want to get into it. And also lawmakers have to agree to stay on Saturday before a month-long recess. They don't like to stay on Friday. They certainly don't want to stay on Saturday. So this looks like it's pretty long odds to be voted on this week, which means you have a month break when they come back in September for voting to start. And guys, a lot of things could happen in a month. And there is fear that this bill will get somehow tilted off track.
The thing that is probably, so again, they're up against, as Ross is saying there, they're up against long odds to get the vote done this week. But the changes to the legislation, Ross has shared this, by the way, in the updated version of the bill. Some of the things that are most relevant here is, I think, ensuring the hard revenue share cap. So this would close the loopholes and ensure associated entity deals count toward the cap. Meaning, like, if you want to do multimedia rights deals, that's going to count toward the cap. And if the cap, I believe it's $48.5 million thereabouts, like, that's it. There's a $22.5 million retention fund. And you could spend an additional $5 million on Olympic sports, a maximum of $27.5 million. So you're looking at something that's just more in line with what is equitable across the board. It does protect conference movement and expansion subject to 19. So 19 would be the max for conferences to expand. And it closes the private equity loophole for forming a super league. It doesn't mean those things can't happen. It just closes the private equity loophole to make it happen. I tend to fall in line with where Feinbaum was on that, saying, I don't think this is going to solve all our problems. In theory, it will. But the point Ross made there is, is there a judge somewhere who will find some loophole or way to rule in opposition of the legislation that creates a whole new cycle of changes? Kind of feels like that. But if you're in favor of guardrails, this is the closest we've been. We'll see if they can get it across the finish line. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. I'm really excited, man. The Lake has 23 NIL deals with LSU football players, and we're going to have the opportunity to interview all of them. Might even start this weekend, getting some of those in the can. So very excited to bring you those conversations in partnership with Our Lady of the Lake. And, of course, world-class health care right here at home. You don't have to leave to get world-class heart, health, cancer, stroke, pediatric care. You can get it right here, courtesy of the Lake. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Our cousin, Uncle Larry. Cousin Uncle Larry's next.
After further review.
Our cousin Uncle Larry? Our friend Uncle Larry. He'll join us in a little bit. Larry Holder. Hey, we're brought to you by Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com for Arco Power Systems. Industrial Generac generator power. Storm season starts at the beginning of June. We know that. But we typically see the ramp up as we get through July and into August. So this is a really important time. For planning. If you have a standby generator at your home, why you have a standby generator at your home. What about for your business? This is critical backup energy solutions. It's Arco Power Systems. Industrial Generac generators. Generators for your business, your commercial, industrial facility, government, municipalities, and everything's turnkey. Sell, service, install, rent, Industrial Generac generator power. It's Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, Arco.com.